Hey everybody, it's Matt. I'm back again with another episode of Q&A with Matt K. These are the videos where I answer someone's question that they posted on Trailhead, Reddit, or sent it to us directly. If you have any questions, you can always send it to us at quick2.click/Q&A, and then we'll give that question a higher priority than a random one that I find online. And all these questions that I answer, I do without any preparation. I don't know if the questions are solvable. I find them and I say, oh yeah, let's take a look. And so it kind of gives you a real world look at what my daily work is like, what my job is like, my life really, for the last 23 years of solving stuff in Salesforce. So if you're new to the show, or if you are not, please remember to like and subscribe. I've been off for a little bit, haven't been making videos as much as I'd like to. I'd like to do them more. And in order to do that, we really need more subscribers, because then I can say, look, people like me. They like learning from my mistakes and sometimes getting the things right. So please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And with that, let's jump in to this question that I found on the boards. It was posted yesterday. This is a hard to read question. No offense to the person who posted it. It's just the formatting on the site. But it looks like they've got an Apex class. It's a test class, and they're getting this error, mixed DML operation. And they don't want to get that error because they need the test coverage. In order to deploy any Apex code from a sandbox to your production, you need to have 75% coverage of all your code and no failures as well. So they cannot deploy this without getting rid of this error. Now, this does not mean that there's anything wrong with the code. It just means that they're doing some things that aren't allowed. And so what I'm going to do is try to create this test class. And I'm going to jump over to VS Code here. Let's create a new Apex class. We can do it this way. And I'll zoom in. And let's just call this the no mixed DML. That's a weird name that I did, and with weird case too, but that's okay. Let's get rid of the boilerplate and come here and copy and paste this person's class. Hopefully I can get, I think it's just a method here. Let's see. And then we will format it. Hopefully it'll look nice. Let's change the spacing to 2 because I am not a psycho. And now let's see if I can format this. Now, ideally, I would actually... that's what I was afraid of. No formatter for Apex. Let's see if we can get one. Pretty... All right. We don't have time for this. I can do this using VS Code. So let's do this. There we go, much better. And okay, so what do we have? We have small font. Let's make this bigger. Okay, that's pretty good. So we can see here, here is the unit test. It's called test username. Starts by doing a query of a profile. Then there's this user record that is inserted. And then test start test. Oh, I see what's going on. We construct a messaging channel and a session. Insert that session, then test stop test. Query the user. Do a system. Whoa, what? Sorry. Then do a system run as? What is going on here? To get the username. Okay, so get username as this test user. Expected result, test username first name plus session ID plus session ID. Returned username and session ID match the expected format. Ah, okie dokie. There's some code that I don't have access to called username update, a class that I don't have. And so I'm not going to be able to run that code. Now, it's possible that is the code that is causing the problem, in which case I definitely am not going to be able to help this person. Like I said, you got to kind of see what my day is like. These are not planned or prepared. So sometimes this type of thing happens. Let me see if this compiles. I'm going to go ahead and deploy this. Always deploy to a sandbox or a dev org. Don't ever deploy directly to production. So don't blame me if you try to do something you're not supposed to do. I'm getting an error. Let's see if I can figure out what that error is. The field does not exist. Well, of course it doesn't exist. I don't have this field. Messaging session, logged in user. What is a messaging session? Oh, man. A messaging session. Well, it must be an object. Maybe I can create this field. Let's see. I don't know if I need to have something installed or not, but there you go. Cool. It looks like it is a lookup to user. So I'm going to create a new field, and it's going to be called logged in user. It's going to be a lookup to user. Let's see if I can do this. User. Here we go. Okay. So I'm just creating this new field that's going to be called logged in user. Just double check, logged in user, capital I. That's okay. Not case sensitive. Apex in general is not case sensitive, so we should be okay. There are some exceptions to every rule. All right, so I'm creating this field. The field is created. Let's go ahead and try to deploy this again. So I'm right-clicking and hitting deploy. So I am running actually in Code Builder, which is basically VS Code in the cloud. It's provided by Salesforce. If you have not played with Code Builder and you're still using VS Code locally, I highly recommend it because it's always nice to. Did I just create that field? It's always nice not to have to run stuff locally. Field does not exist. Logged in user. I mean, you saw me do it, right? Logged in user. Messaging session. Logged in user. Messaging session. What org am I in? I'm in the wrong org. That would do it. Okay. There we go. Now that I'm in the right org, we get a different error. Okay, this is just syntax saying that look at that. System run as test user. Why? Is that how run as works? Maybe it does. Let's see. So system run as allows you to run the next part of the code as somebody else. Perfect. Okay, no errors, just a bunch of warnings because I named it wrong and a bunch of other stuff. That is just silly stuff. Does not matter for now. Let's run this test and see if we get any errors. Now, if we don't get an error, then it's got to be something about the code that they're running. Oh, good, we got an error. You don't hear that too often. Failed. And the failed is because, oh, that's not the same error. The username already exists in this or another Salesforce organization. Okay, so this here is what's failing. Let's go ahead. Just do something crazy like that and deploy and try again. So it was failing because that test.test.com exists. And all usernames at Salesforce need to be unique across production instances, not Sandbox is a little different. So Sandbox could have all names in Sandbox need to be unique too, but Sandbox and production could be the same. All right, so we got an error. Mixed DML operation. Yay, we got the same error. Okay, so perfect. So now I am set up to be able to try to resolve this problem for the person who posted it. So line 33 is where we get the error. Let's close that. Line 33 is right here where we're inserting a session. Okay, so let's talk about mixed DML. What is mixed DML? It's really not, it's not the mixing that is the issue. It's the order in which we mix, really. So in this case, we are inserting a user, and then we are inserting a session. It's interesting the channel didn't fail. And so the problem is after inserting a user, you cannot insert a session. That's just not allowed. But for this test, we need to insert a user. So how can we get around this? Well, we have a couple options. Let's zoom out a little. First, what is it that we're actually testing? Down here, we're testing, well, we're just testing, I guess, that something, this method works. This thing here works. But it's not even that necessarily. Maybe it's testing this information here. I don't know. Something happens as a result of this. We don't know what. But what I would do is to use the @test setup annotation to make data. And so what this does, this every time a unit test is run in this class, we're going to have this data ahead of time, basically. So the class is going to be launched, let's say invoked. It's going to make this data, and then each unit test is going to run with an instance of the data that was made in there, independent. So this unit test can do some math. Another unit test can do the math. They're both going to start at the same point. So we like have a rollback after each one. You could consider it. And so what I'm going to do is move this up to here. Okay. Now that I've done that, though, you're like, well, wait a minute. We need that user down here. Where is it? We need it right here. How do I get it? So we do a query. Actually, a query. Let's just do that. Select ID from user. And we might need some other stuff. Let's go ahead and get first name because he's going to need it. So we'll do select ID, first name from user. We're going to do a limit 1 here. Now I want to make sure I get the right user though. So what I'm going to do instead up here, I'm going to say static string username. Actually, that's fine. Equals, copy that. Put that there. And put username right there. Okay. And now it's hard for me not to do this. Okay, so we're going to call this username all caps. Sorry. Type A personality, database person. I got to do things certain ways. Okay, static. We can do a final. Make this a constant. There we go. Doesn't match. Oh, we have a naming convention. What's the naming convention? Oh, it did. It does match. Okay. And then down here, we can say find the users, do a query where the username equals this. Now, this will ensure we get the right user. So it's pulling that one from up there. Let's deploy this and figure out why we're getting these little squigglies here. Huh. No errors. I don't know why we're getting squigglies, but that's okay. And then here we're going to say if users.size is, we can say equals 1. Then we would proceed. Okay, this actually needs to occur ahead of time. There we go. And let's deploy that as well. Oh, we are getting some errors. Let's see if we can figure out. Expression cannot be assigned. I forgot the where. It would be good to do that. My syntax highlighting is off. Do you guys see that? Everything's pink. It's kind of weird. Oop, wrong one. Deploy. Okay, let's see if that's fixed. Okay, still got an error. First exception. What is going on? First exception. Test username line 33. DML. Well, that's from before. It's not from now. Let's clear this out. Okay, so what do we do? What are we doing? Let's figure this out. We are inserting the user up here. Then we're doing this insertion down here. Let's go ahead and try it out. Oh, still failed. Let's see what we got. Line 48. We still got. Aha. Okay. I have a feeling this is causing a failure. This is not. That's kind of weird, right? Because any insertion after the user has been inserted should cause a failure. I think this is considered to be the same type of data as the user. So let's do that. And then we're going to do the same thing that we just did before. We're going to say static final string. And we're going to call this the channel name. Something like that. Okay. And then down here, we're going to do a query. We'll do it up here, actually. List. Select ID from messaging channel where message type developer name equals channel name. Limit 1. So some of you might be saying, well, why am I querying to an array, to a list, if I'm always doing limit 1? In a test class, you could argue that you want it to fail. And so I would not argue with anybody who said that, hey, you should actually have it queried to a single record like this. Because in a test class, you actually could say, well, it's a good thing if it fails, right? So if you making that argument, I agree with you. It is a good thing if a test class fails when it doesn't behave as the way it should. I just have this habit, which is a great habit for when you're writing your actual code, your logic, not your test classes, that if you're going to do a query, always bind it to a list. And that way, if the record is not found, that query doesn't fail. And then I do stuff like this where I say, okay, if user set size. And so because I have that habit, which is a great habit that I have from every other line of code I write, I do the same thing here. Now this will still fail because down below, I need a record to be there. So if this ends up being null because it doesn't find the messaging channel, my code down below will still fail anyway. Now I could do an assertion here, and that's probably the right thing to do, is actually just do an assertion before. I'm not going to do it right now because I just want to get this to compile and figure out if I'm on the right track. But let's see. So I'm going to deploy this. Hopefully we got no errors now. Oh, I think I got an error. Nope, it's that same one. It's just there from before. Okay, let's run all tests. Fishy. Line 48. It's not compiling, is it? It's not deploying. So for some reason, this is not deploying. Variable does not exist channel. Okay, so it did not. Because I didn't put this there. Okay, let's try it one more time. Okay, now it compiled. Now I can run the test. And I still got an error. Oh, what could it be? Line 60. First exception on row 0. Invalid input. Oh. Conversation ID field required to be set on messaging exception. This is a different error. I should not have called this class no-mixed-DML. Every time I see that, I think that I got the same error. What is going on? That is interesting. Okay, let's do what I said we were going to do. So let's do system. Actually, we can do the new one. Assert dot is true. So these are the new assertion methods on the assert class. We're going to say test channel dot ID not equal to null. And then if it fails, we'll say test channel query did not work. And then we'll do the same thing here. Now we we don't really need a test. We can just say test user. All right, let's deploy that. But that is interesting. I'm getting a different error. That's the same as before. Why is it doing that? I need to clear all tests, but that's okay. Let's try running it and see what happens. Okay, still getting errors. Failed. Test ran 2. That's weird. There's only 1 test here. Hey, one of them passed. Okay, that's even weirder. Okay, first exception on row 0. So that's the first item in the list that I'm inserting. First error, invalid input. Conversation identifier field required to reset in messaging session for messaging channel support. Okay. So the issue is this channel supports rich text, and a conversation ID is required on a channel that supports rich text. This error wasn't being received by the person who posted this because they didn't get this far. Now, I am not familiar with these objects that we're playing with, the messaging session object in particular, or the messaging channel object. Let's pull open the Salesforce docs for the messaging channel. I'll zoom in so you can read it, and we can see what fields are available here and maybe figure out how to fix this. What was the name of the fields? Okay, so message type. Message type is here. These are the types that are embedding message is for in-app and web. Let's change it just to text. Let's just try it out. I know that's not what he had, but let's just try it out. Okay, and we're going to execute this. Oh, uh-oh. What just happened? I don't know what I did. Unknown exception. Messaging disabled. Aha! Okay, that I can fix, possibly. So messaging is disabled. Let's turn on messaging. Messaging settings. Enabled. Enabled. Oh, no. I can't turn it on. I maybe have to create a new channel first. Let's try that. Sure. We're going to call this our web save. Okay. And I'm just going to save it. I don't need all that stuff. Now let's see if messaging still cannot be turned on. Well, it might be difficult to resolve this particular issue when messaging cannot be turned on. Why cannot I turn it on? It could be a licensing thing. This is a Trailhead playground. Maybe it's not available. Let's let's try something crazy. I do this all the time. What I'm going to do is just explore this page. I'm going to look at it, and you can see here there's a toggle, and let's see if I can figure out. Right, here's an input. It's disabled. Now this shouldn't work, but there, you don't have permission to access messaging. Contact Salesforce customer support. So I have a feeling it's not included in this org. That's my guess. They probably don't want people using Trailhead for it, but let's just check. If I were to create like a new permission set. Something like that, whatever. Let's just see. Maybe I can turn it on. Messaging. Well, there's this. Let's see. Let's give myself permission. What's the worst that happens, right? Won't be able to do it. So I'm going to just start giving myself all this messaging stuff, all these permissions related to messaging. I'm going to hit save. I do think it's a licensing issue though. Save, yes. Again, always use it in a sandbox and then deploy. Don't ever just start making changes to production. And let's go ahead, and I don't know who I am today. I assume I'm this person. Next, assign. Oh, look at that. The user license does not allow the permission end messaging session. Okay. I don't need to end the session. Let's take that one away. Well, this is not what I expected when I started this video. So I'm going to uncheck that and hit save. And then we'll try to assign it to myself. Oh, look at that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Nothing to look at. Let's assign it to myself, see if it works. No, I can't do that because the user license does not allow messaging for in-app and web agent. Okay, so this is not going to work. That's basically the gist of this. Let's go ahead and can't enable messaging in Trailhead Playground. Well, now this is a challenge that is only questions at the bottom. So I will not be able to do this. Now, if there was a Trailhead module that included messaging, then I probably would be able to do it. But you can see here, what is the licensing that's needed? Service Cloud. And I think it's an add-on to Service Cloud. Oh, this is embarrassing. Okay, company information. Let's check out the licenses here. Do we see anything? We got a lot of licenses. Do we see Service Cloud user? Well, there's two. Maybe, just maybe, we can do this. Let's edit my user. Hopefully there's nothing important on it that I'm not supposed to show people. Oh, it's already checked. Not a good sign. Messaging doesn't show up anywhere. Service Cloud is already checked. What did it say? Am I using any of my Service Cloud licensing? I am. Yeah, I should have realized that. Messaging. I think I cannot turn it on. I think it is not available. So theoretically, this should work. I could test it in another org. Let's talk about what we've done because it should work. So first, I created this method here to insert the data, and I use the @test setup. And what this does, again, it's kind of runs this code ahead of time, so it's not the same thread or transaction. And so because it's not the same transaction, we're not going to get the mixed DML message because we're not doing them in the same transaction. We're doing them in separate transactions. Once we've done that, then we can go ahead and have as many unit tests as we want that insert regular data. And so we can insert this right here, this session right here. And we have to query to get the information that we inserted up above. And just to prove that that really was the issue, why don't we do this? Insert new account, name equals hello. And now this should fail because we're doing a mixed transaction. We're doing mixed DML within a single transaction. So let's go ahead and execute that. And we should get the error saying it's mixed DML. Insert failed on row 28. Row 28, see? So that's what mixed DML is all about. It's inserting users and other setup data. Maybe that's a way to kind of think about it. So a lot of, not all, but a lot of setup data is separate, is treated differently than end user data that you get out, when you're actually in whatever app you're in, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, etc. So think about it that way, where that's where that dotted line is. If administrators create the data from setup, then it might be considered to be the type of DML that you can't do at the same transaction or before doing the regular data DML. Let's actually check this out. So what if I do the account first? Let's see what happens now. Line 28. Oh, wait, line 28 is the messaging. Wait, that can't be. I didn't deploy it, did I? Let me try one more time. Long day, guys, sorry. All right, so one more time. If I remember correctly, this should be okay. We're still going to get the error because we have the error down below. Nope, line 30. Oh, so it's no mixed. I was mistaken. It's been a while. So no mixed DML. So you can't do setup data and end user data within the same thread or transaction. And so what that means is we have to use tools like this or do it asynchronously to allow you to set this up. Now, setting up something like this is great. This is a great way to you know, the best practice, even if you're not having the mixed DML. You want to usually use like a make data to set up your data before you run your tests. And that way, all your tests will run independently, and you're not inserting data in each of your tests. And that way, when there's a change, you don't have to update each test. The other thing that I would recommend, again, it makes more sense if you have a lot of unit tests, is we could make a method that does something like this. Static, just put void for now, query channel, because I can't actually remember what we're doing. So it's going to be a messaging channel, query, messaging channel. So I will often do this and return test channel. Let's do that. And call this from somewhere else. And what I may even do, let's put here, string developer name, because I don't know what all the different tests are that I'm going to be running. So I probably would do something like this. I'm going to put that right there and copy that. And come back up here. And now I can just do this. Right? And I can even take that away. There you go, much cleaner, right? One line. And I would probably do the same thing for the users. So let's do that too. And you can see now how this would be very reusable if we had a lot of tests. Okay, and we're gonna put that there. And I would probably, well, I might definitely would, user something like that instead of, and then here we would say the same thing, messaging channel. All right, let's call this, because it is case sensitive, I want to make sure that I don't cause any problems. Where is my query for the user? I think I took it away already. There we go. Nice and clean. Now this one actually, I don't know why this is even needed. Isn't that weird? Unless this thing changes the username, maybe. I'm not sure why this is needed. Because the query was, oh, maybe he didn't do a query. He inserted it, maybe? I'm not sure, actually. Maybe this updates the first name. No, it doesn't. I don't think so. I don't know. But that's as far as I can get in this org. And I'm not going to go searching for another org on this call. I don't think that'd be a great video of me just logging into a bunch of different orgs, trying to find one that has messaging enabled. So I think I have to finish there, but I promise to the person who asked the question, this will get you past the mixed DML error. You will probably hit the next error that I hit, which was when this was not text, when this was that other value, which was embedded messaging. It then wanted something else on the messaging session. And if you do hit that error and you need help with it, you know how to reach me, quick2.click/Q&A, and then we can explore that on another video. So once again, please remember to like and subscribe. It means a lot to me, and it'll mean a lot to you because I'll be able to answer more questions that you get to watch. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much.